Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Shiv.
Good morning to you, Constantine.
What are we discussing today?
We're going to discuss a topic that I think is very important for all students, but very important for internationals. And internationals do tend to do this quite well, but there are little extra things that they can be doing, and that is making the most of their career service.
So tell me, I'm a new student coming on campus in October. I need to do so many things, sort my accommodation, my bank account, understand how things work, but what else I should be doing?
So, what I would say is it's very easy to kind of concentrate on all of those different areas. And of course, you're excited, you're enthusiastic, and you want to have a look around the campus. You want to know where everything is that you're going to use. But what you might not do is you might not realize the events that are coming up for the autumn term. You might not realize all of the services that the career service offers to you. And so you might miss out on things. And that's quite a common thing. People will have a chat with you in November, December time and say, "Oh, when's the autumn fair happening?" It's happened.
Okay. So I come, and where can I find information about the autumn fair?
At Warwick, that would definitely be on my advantage. So getting kind of conditioned into using whichever platform, and I'm thinking beyond Warwick here, we use My Advantage, get to understand how My Advantage works, understand what it does. It doesn't just have vacancies, it doesn't just allow you to book for events and workshops and employer presentations. It will also allow you to track your development. It will allow you to sort of book appointments with skills advisors, the placement, the work experience people.
Okay, so we have the university website. From there, I find the career service
Yeah,
page, and
yeah.
there.
So if you're in WBS, you would find the Careers Plus. If you were a central student, then you would be looking at student opportunity careers. And from there, you'd have a look, you'd see what all the different things is, but then you would look out for My Advantage, because getting used to My Advantage is really key, because it's very easy to get swept up in a load of things, because you can see a lot of student society things. You often find that people will mistake student society things for careers things, and they're not. So seeing what explicitly is going on with the central careers team, I think, is really important.
Okay, so from there, I find the dates, the location of the autumn fair. Is there any support I can get to prepare for the autumn fair? So I'm
Yeah.
comfortable, I can engage in conversations with the employers, or what information I can find about the exhibitors as well?
We've got a fantastic central team. So every department will have a linked careers consultant. So the central team is there to see everybody except business school on CV checks, things like that. So I guess the key point is preparing for fairs in particular, or preparing for workshop events where there's going to be an employer in. There's lots of research that you can do. I mean, I think when it's an employer presentation, they're there to give you the information. So it's a case of just turning up. When it's a careers fair, I think one of the things that, I don't know if you get this, but a lot of students will say, "Well, I don't really know what to say to them." And I will say, "Well, have you done your research? What do you know about them? What's important for you to find out?" There's no point you turning up and giving them the potted history of what their organisation has done, because they kind of know that already, but they want to know why that's important to you and why you're wanting to work for them. So having a look at the resources on the central careers pages, there's a researching employers section. I'm always worried about saying these things because I know at some point they're going to change it and update it or get rid of things like this. But I think it's important to know that that's there for you to start your search. Also, the prospects pages are really good to do sector research. Different industries will have different ones. I think if you've got any affiliation, if you've got an accredited course of any kind, then looking at professional bodies linked to you, I think that's really key. I don't know what other areas you think are really vital.
I was thinking about when you research employers, just check general news. available online. You can easily find out what Financial Times or even the BBC have published about a certain company, and then try to bring all the information together. You know, what research you've carried out through the website, what research carried out through the company's social media profile, news information, and then come up with some really 3 to 4 intelligent questions. Because, as you said, employers don't want you to go and tell them about their company. They know pretty well what they are and what they can offer, but they want to see how their initiatives, how their project will excite you and why you might be a good asset for them. So I would just encourage everyone just to see it, spend some time. It doesn't need to be long, probably half an hour will be good to write down a few good questions that you can use in these initial interactions with the employers.
And even to say things like, well, what drew you to work with this organisation? What have you benefited from working with them? What would you tell 25-year-old you, 20-year-old you about the skill sets that you're using now that you needed to develop and things like that? Because that shows a more creative style of thinking. I think that a lot of recruiters say they find really refreshing and like to see or impressed by. I think too many times people are too frightened to say something because they think they're going to look stupid, but no, they're not.
But the other good tip is don't ask closed questions, because if the answer is just yes or no, you can't take the conversation anywhere. So you just want something, showing your curiosity, and curiosity is a big on employers' agenda. They want to see it in their applicants, they want to see it in employees. So demonstrate this curiosity all the way through from initial engagement.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's about the autumn fair, and just very quickly touching on how one can prepare. What else can an international student get from the student service at the university?
I would say going along to some of the central careers provision. Here at Warwick, what we do is run short workshops around things like resilience. We talk about networking. Now, you can come to those, but you could also go to central events that aren't just for international students. But thinking about those workshops, thinking about what you'd like to get out of them. It's no point just turning up and just sitting there, not engaging. And we do see students who are very respectful and just want to listen. But what we would like them to do is to kind of take that information on and then think, oh, how am I going to use this? And ask questions. Don't feel you can't ask questions. I always say in my workshops, there's no such thing as a silly question if you don't know the answer. And I think sometimes they'll come up and they'll talk to you afterwards. And I would say, that's fine. But have you thought somebody else might have been thinking just exactly as you were, and they could have benefited from that? So don't just sit and absorb, but respond to, ask questions of. I'm not saying that the people who deliver know everything, but there's a dialogue that can happen where information and knowledge can be shared, and that's an important part of that for everybody.
I love this one. That's kind of peer session, peer support. And recently I've just done a webinar, and final question, one of the attendees asked the question and said, okay, it is my specific story, but maybe it will be relevant for others in the audience. And the others just fed from that question. They kept asking more clarifying questions, and then it grew into a discussion that was relevant to the topic we covered, but it was beyond, and then supported others. So I thought what you're saying about questioning and be active participant, it's really, really important.
I think it's vital. It's vital for your development. It's vital for your peers' development. It's also vital for the trainer's development. Because I think there's this perception, these are the experts, they know exactly what they're talking about, they don't need anything else. Yes, we do. I think the problem this academic year has been this perception that there is nothing positive an international student brings, particularly. They've got to overcome obstacles. But actually, the very nature of being international, how you've travelled halfway across the world, how you're studying probably in not your first language, those are incredible characteristics for anybody to bring to an organisation. I just think it's fantastic. And we need to celebrate the positives and keep reminding people, this is how fabulous you are. You truly are amazing that you're able to do this. Do not forget it.
Yes, yeah. And I think they should remember this going forward when they start applying for jobs and
Sell it.
maybe face some rejections. But that's another topic,
That's
actually.
another
Yeah, sorry, I'm not
conversation for
going to
another
touch on that
day.
one. But how do the careers team support international students in crafting that winning CV?
I think there's a lot of knowledge within the team about the different sectors and the different information that needs to go in. But there's a central message which is about tailoring, which is about being positive in the kind of terminology that you use about yourself. It's not having the generic CV. It's moving beyond that. It's about understanding what the employer wants and then crafting something for each application that you make. So that's what everybody can get from the central service. And the fact that, yes, you can look at AI, and AI is great, and we all use AI, but the human touch makes such a difference. And having that feedback from a human being, I think, is something that will never be replaced.
Yeah, I was going to touch on AI because tailoring applications, picking up the keyword, you can make the process more efficient. So you have the keywords, and AI with a good prompt can suggest how you can integrate them in your document. However, what you're saying, your personal touch, your authentic voice is really important. And I think we've seen quite a few CVs now made by AI. And if we can recognize it, I guarantee you the employers will
And
too.
that's exactly what they say, because they don't feel this is a real person. And so they don't think this person will fit with their organization. Whereas all it took was, use AI, do your research, but then get it checked and then make sure it's your authentic voice, because ultimately it's you that's working there. Yeah, you're going to use AI, but you're going to get pulled up about overuse of AI in an organization as much as you're going to be pulled up for underuse of AI. But it's got to be you. They've got to feel that your authentic voice connects to their values, their needs, their understanding of what their clients need.
Yeah, that's great. So support is available for CVs. We also know that there are lots of information resources, and one quite recent for the careers team and the university is Student Circus.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about
So
it?
Student Circus is an initiative set up by international graduates, and it gives information about opportunities that are open for sponsorship. It gives information about different sectors, about different countries, not just the UK. So it's a fabulous starting point resource that I've been advocating for quite a while, and now we've got it, yay! So I'm really pleased about that, because I think what Druv and the team do with that particular resource is fantastic. And it's important to show students that there are a range of resources that where we can, we will tap into, we will get for them. But ultimately, the greatest resource is themselves and their personal development. So we will utilize everything that we can to get the best for them. There are things like going global as well, which we also use, which is good for home students as well as internationals. But I think Student Circus is a really fabulous resource.
So they check recent vacancies advertised there, in addition to the vacancies that you mentioned in the beginning, advertised on My Advantage or My WBS. If you
and they just log in using their student ID, and they can take it from there.
Okay. So what else I should be doing as a student? If I were to
Joining societies. When I say to a group of students, I'll say, so which societies are you a member of? None. No. You need to network. Yes, you'll network with recruiters. This is a good starting point as well. So student societies, things like Warwick Volunteers, another good thing for developing your confidence, your language skills sometimes, getting a chance to volunteer, meeting new people, having new experiences, having a bit of fun. I think that's really key. And all the other opportunities that come up within a department, things like the SSLC, being a Warwick ambassador, all of these things are helpful.
So all these things can also be added to your CV, and really you can demonstrate that you not only study, but you do additional things. You're engaging. You're a sociable creature.
Yeah, because human beings are sociable creatures. In the world of work, you're going to be involved in things within, your organization. So there's going to be volunteering within that. There's going to be joining different groups, putting together projects.
Yeah.
So learning just to work with other human beings, I think, is really key.
Okay, so if we need to finish with one main key point, what will this be?
Oh, that's hard. Just one.
Just one, please.
Be focused.
Okay, thank you. And I look forward to speaking to you very soon.
I always look forward to speaking to you.
Okay, thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.